All right, here we go. 10. Let's do a little review before I do anything. Write this down, please. Guys, you need to have paper ready every day before you even sit down for bell work. This is not the time to be getting paper. Here we go. We can make this very simple. This is what we start with, okay? What kind of special right triangle is this? It's a 45, 45, 90. How do you know? Because it has two 45s. All right, so what do you know? What kind of right triangle is this? It is a 45, 45, 90, but it's a special right triangle. It is a right what? There we go, right isosceles. If it's an isosceles triangle, that means what about two of the sides? They're equal. Which two sides are equal? The sides opposite the 45. Now look, here's one, here's the other. So what is x? X is 5. What's y? No. Five root 2. That's all you got to do. That's it. 5 root 2. What did we do? We took the leg and we multiplied the square root of 2 to it, didn't we? Okay. Let's look at another 45, 45, 90. This will help us to review. Another 45, 45, 90 triangle. Please write this down. Your hypotenuse is given, and it's 7 root 2. I want you to find x and y. If the hypotenuse is 7 root 2, folks, what are the legs? Look at the one above it and figure out what the other one is. This is not difficult, promise. So promise this is not difficult. What? Pardon me? Yeah. 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 What's that? What are x and y, y'all? They are legs. What are their values? What are their lengths? Thank you, Cody. Take charge. They're 7. Thank you very much. That's all it is. Don't make this difficult. Here's another one. How about this one? Do that one real fast. How do you know this one's a 45, 45, 90 triangle? Because the two angles are marked congruent to each other. Okay? Look at this real quickly. What do we have? First of all, which ones are congruent? X and 11. If this X has got to be 11 if they're congruent sides. That means if those two legs are 11, what is the hypotenuse? 11 root 2. Okay? Here's another one. Let's change gears. You also learned about 30, 60, 90 triangles. The pattern is like this. The short leg is opposite the 30-degree angle. The long leg is opposite the 60-degree angle. I base everything on the short leg or the hypotenuse because I think they're the easiest ones to figure out. If I were to tell you that the short leg, all right, let's label this triangle. How do you know it's the short leg? Because it's across from a 30-degree angle. If the short leg, AC, is 5, and I want you to find little c and little a, okay? The easiest one to find, if you're given the short leg, is the hypotenuse, because it's going to be 2 times the short leg. Well, what is the short leg, y'all? What's the length of the short side? 5. Okay? Nope. What's that hypotenuse? If it's 2 times 5, it's what? 10. So that's 10. What's left for us to find? The long leg. Okay? The long leg is SL square root of 3. What does SL mean? The short leg times the square root of 3. What's a short leg? 5 root 3. Are you kidding me? That's all it is to it. Is it really that easy? That's all you do, folks. The easiest 2 sides to be given is the short leg and hypotenuse. If you've got those, you got this. Oh, it's easy. Easy. Okay? Let's look at another 30, 60, 90. Sorry. Let's move this thing around, change the way it looks. What am I given? Am I given the hypotenuse, short leg, long leg? I'm given the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 20. If the hypotenuse is 20, what's the short leg? Where is the short leg? It's on the bottom. How'd you know that? But how'd you know it was 10? Divide it by 2. Really? Do you guys see what I'm doing? Yes or no? What's the long leg then? If the short leg's 10, what's the long leg? 10 root 3. We do the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay? Got it? Let's look at another one. You guys find X and Y yourselves. Hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is given. All right, if the hypotenuse is given, what's the easiest leg to find? The short leg. So what are you going to do to get the short leg? Divide by 2. 50 divided by 2 is what, everybody? 25. Which one is the short leg? Very good. If Y is 25, then what's the long leg, everybody? 25 root 3. Okay? These are very straightforward, cut and dry problems, okay? Very cut and dry. This is not any of the funky algebra stuff. Do you still need me to go over, like number 10, funky problem, okay? Because it's got that weird algebra stuff, but let's look at 10. $45, $45, $90 triangle. I would write this down, especially if you did not do it. Okay? We know that it's a $45, $45, $90 triangle, and we're given one of the legs, and we're asked to find the hypotenuse, which is kind of weird because typically the hypotenuse is the one that has the square root of 2 in it, okay? So we've got to find the hypotenuse, which is the leg times the square root of 2. Do you guys agree? That's the formula. Okay. Okay, but look what we have. Do you not agree that the hypotenuse is the formula leg times square root of 2? Do you buy that? So what is the leg that we're given? 4 root 2 times the root 2 that was already there. Write this down. You got to clue in. You got to zone into this. What is the square root of 2? Because we have to multiply things that are similar. What is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? It's actually the square root of 4, which is plain old 2. What's 4 times 2? So that means that the hypotenuse is 8. Do you understand that problem? Okay? You're going to do another one like it, I promise. Okay? You're going to do it today, and it's going to be 4th grade. It's a promise. Yeah. Here we go. Here's another one. Let's look at 12. The tabletop's an isosceles triangle. The length of the front edge of the table is 48. What's the length of each side leg? I think it looks something like that. And what are we told? WW. I've got it backwards. This is 48. Well, folks, if it's a right triangle and you have 2 sides that are W, what kind of special right triangle is this? Which means, is it a 45, 45, 90 or a 30, 60, 90? It means it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right? So we're going to take 45 here. We're going to take 45 here. We are given the hypotenuse, are we not? We already determined in the last problem that the hypotenuse is the leg times the square root of 2. Do you guys agree with that? Okay. .48 where the hypotenuse goes. I need to solve for the leg, don't I? What's the leg in the picture? W. Check this out. Now we're totally doing algebra, y'all. Oh, looky there. Now, wrong one. Root 2. Root 2. And my root 2's canceled. Let me ask you something. This is a table, correct? Ooh, yuck. If this is a table, can't you take your calculator and figure out what the decimal is for this? Because when we're talking real measurements with a ruler, are we ever going to have square roots of 2 or square roots of 3 in there? Chase, when you're in your class building, you may, but do you ever build, I don't know, a shed that is 14 root 2 feet tall? I don't know any measuring devices like that. Do you? No, come on now. Use your calculator, folks. I would use a parentheses around that denominator. Y'all know I'm a parentheses ninja. I think parentheses should go around everything. 33.9 what? Inches, right. Okay? If I were putting this in my calculator, I would put 48 divided by. Oh, it didn't put the divide. There you go. How can you show me then like 24 square root 2 for that sound like? Because you are dividing a real number with a square root number. You can't do that. If the 48 was under a radical, you could. Yeah, but it's not under a radical, so you can't do that. Okay? Let's look at 14. $30. YX. And 10 root 3. Okay. What are we given here? What is the side that we're given? The hypotenuse. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And the hypotenuse is twice SL. What's that mean? The short leg. Well, what are we given? Which is the hypotenuse. So, substitute. What is the short leg? Be careful. Why is it X? Because it's across from a 30-degree angle, okay? That means that Y is the what? Long leg, the long whatever. Little leg? Long leg? Oh, short leg, long leg. Okay, let's call this adjective class. Thank you, children. Leg. X, right? Hey, how you going to solve this? So bye-bye. Why? Thank you. How simple is that? You got to get the variable by itself. Exactly. Hello, 10 root 3 divided by 2. What is that? 5 root 3. Shamalama ding dong. Looky there. Look at there. Y'all need to bring that word back. Shamalama ding dong. You should totally bring that back. I don't know, something like that. Well, but
You ever seen those shirts that say keep calm and something? I should get keep calm and Shadow Lane ding dong.
no. Okay. Okay. What is, oh Lord Jesus? Write it out, long leg. Long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3. Do we know the short leg?
Yes.
Yes, what is it?
5 square root 3.
It's already 5 root 3. The long leg is Y, right? Okay.
Is that that?
Nope. What can we multiply together? The root 3's. What's root 3 times root 3? Root 9. What's root 9? Chase, you said it 5 minutes ago, didn't you? So the long leg is 15. The short leg is 5 root 3. These are jacked up problems. You may or may not see these, but you've got to be prepared to not go into it like, she never showed us how to do these problems. That's a lie. Lie, because I have. Okay? Does that help on 14? Okay? Questions at all? Any others? So here's what I want you to do for me, okay? Folks, look at this right here, please. If you can't see, which chances are you can't. Daniel, I'm going to print you one of these. Guys, you need to... Sucks for them, huh? I want you to copy these down. If you need to move so you can, that's what you got to do, okay?